Okay guys, what I've got today is a wee hog louse. You can see it there. It's a wee kind of shrimpy type beastie that lives in the bottom in most still waters, and at this time of the year, along with bloodworm and buzzers, this is going to be a major food source for the trout. So I'll show you how to tie that. So the hooking device is just a standard wet fly hook. This is a size 12, Camasan B175. I'm going to use is some gel spun thread. I'll attach that first, and we're going to weight the fly using some lead wire. Now I'm going to put these wee feelers off the front. Now, normally this is for shrimp, but it doesn't do any harm. It looks quite good on this as well. So basically some partridge hackle fibres, or you could use coq de leon, you could use a dark brown partridge, whatever. So just put a wee bunch on the front, stick it out the front. Okay. So it's on the top, tie that down. And then what you're needing is some lead wire. So you need a bit, maybe about 2 inches. About 2 inches long, and then double it. So fold it in half. So you make like a hairpin. Because what we're going to try and do is weight this fly, but on the sides. We don't want to wind it, because we want to make it as flat as possible across the top. So just pinch that on the top, just come back for the eye, 2 or 3 mil, couple of mil, so that you've got room to tie the head net in. So just carefully tie that lead in, keep it on the sides as much as possible. Take that right down to the bend. Okay, now it's just slippery as hell, so I always like to get a wee dab super glue. So just some super glue gel, and spread that out. And then take your lead, the 2 tails, and fold them back and pull them in. Again, keeping them on the side. You're creating a flat profile here. So again, take your thread back up, making sure you keep that nice and flat. Put a few layers of thread on, not do any harm. And then bring your lead back up again. Again, keeping it flat. So you're creating a flat profile like that. So squeeze that on into the sides. Tie that in. Then take your thread back down to the back. And then the last 2 bits of lead, bring them back down the side as well. Again, try to keep them on the side. So tie them in there and just bend and break these tails away. And then, no do any harm, put another wee spot of glue on that. So just spread in some of your gel, just to tie all that together. And then carefully just take your thread and put a few wraps on there, just to kind of cocoon all that in, bind all that in. Tidy up any lumps and bumps. So you've created a nice flat profile there. Okay, you can see that there. Now, doesn't do any harm, I've got a wee pair of flat pliers. I just like to get a wee squeeze, making sure, just a wee gentle squeeze, making sure you flatten that body. Now down at the bottom, what you want to use is a bit of shellback. Now this is got spots and dots on it, it's clear. You can use anything you like, you can use a bit of polythene, but it's generally kind of clear or a kind of just off grey, something like that, shellback. So cut it about 4mm, and then put a wee slight taper in here. So that'll help you with tying it on the top. So just position that on the top, tie that in. Sure it's nice and tight and right up against the end of the hook. And bring your thread back to the top. What we're going to do now is put some dubbing on, and we're going to dub it back down the body. Now you can use squirrel, you could use hare's ear, you could use fox squirrel. These are all kind of generally a bit, the grey squirrel's obviously grey, the other ones are a bit redder. I'm going to use this kind of darker. This is pine squirrel, which is soft, quite soft. So it's somewhere between hare's ear and grey squirrel, which is quite spiky. So just dub a nice thin spindle onto your thread, and then we're going to wind that back down just to cover up that lead. Now you want a decent amount on here because we're going to rake it all out at the bottom. We're going to brush the bottom out for legs, so just build up more, take it down, covering that other wraps as you go. I think this hook's actually a 10, it looks quite big. A 10 or a 12 should match the natural. I would tend to go for a 12 more. For my loch that I've fished, they're generally about a size 12. And they're just wee bottom feeding beasties. They're just, if you can imagine a slater, wood louse, that's exactly what they look like on the bottom of the river. Okay, so just take that to there, and that's you done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my thread as my rib. So I'm going to pull my shell back over, and I'm just going to drop on 2 turns there. And then I'm going to come up the body and drop on 2 turns, 2 or 3 turns, and just keep coming up the body, drop them on 2 or 3 turns. Just get a wee stretch, a couple of turns, and you're just creating wee segments. I'm going to go back, I'm going to space that a wee bit closer. So there, couple of turns, there, couple of turns, there, a couple of turns. And I'm just going to lift this up to put a few turns under here just to tie off. So thread under there, get your whip finish, tie that in, cut your thread, pull you that, and just cut away that on the back. Okay, so next thing you're going to do is get your trusty old Velcro and brush the underside to get that fur out. Create the wee flat legs that this beastie's got. So just pick out the legs, comb them out to the side, so they're just sticking out like that. Okay. And if you want to put a wee spot of varnish on the top of that, wouldn't do any harm, just to seal the threads. You could use a bit of UV, a wee bit of varnish will not do any harm on the top. Okay, so that's a wee hog louse early season pattern. Fish it nice and deep, let it drift in the wind with a long leader, and you probably pick up a few trout with that. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that.